Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. And, you know, it's not every day that, well, not only is this a good sequel, but a sequel that is potentially better than the original. At least that's what I thought back in 1991, I believe, when this came out, which was pretty impressive because the original came out in 1990 and this came out just a year later. And yeah, I mean, when I saw this in theaters, it really blew my mind. I had a lot of hype, you know, to see this movie, mainly because it did have new villains, mutant villains that we've been wanting so bad. Now, I will say, because, like, I remember when I watched the trailer for this movie, it didn't show who the mutants were going to be, which was awesome. You know, it kind of built up all the hype, and it just made you like, oh, I can't wait to go see this. And, you know, most people thought, oh, this is going to be Bebop and Rocksteady. You know what I mean? Because what other villains, as far as like a duo, would there be besides Bebop and Rocksteady? So when I finally saw the movie, I was really shocked at first, a little disappointed, but I don't want to make it sound like it was a negative. But yeah, when I saw it was Tokon Rizar, I was kind of like, oh, I was really hoping for Bebop and Rocksteady. That would have been much better. But hey, that's fine, because at least it's villains that we know in the cartoon series. At least they're well-known villains. But still, it's kind of a shocker, because, like, okay, let's talk about the villains in the Ninja Turtle franchise, right? Like, here's the scale, right? So, like, the top villains, the primary villains obviously is like Shredder, which obviously is in the movie, but then you have like Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, right? They're like the top villains. And then as far as the sub-villains go, like, you know, Baxter Stockman, he's huge. The Rat King, although I never was a fan of him, but he would have been a big one. And then, I guess Leatherhead, I don't know how he kind of scales. A lot of people says he's pretty up there, but I never really cared for him either. Or Slash, you know, those guys. But, like, Tokon Rizar are kind of more the lower scale villains, you know. You don't see them as much. You know, they're more lower key. But, you know, still, though, that's fine. And they looked fantastic. The costumes for Tokon Rizar, they looked like Tokon Rizar. They acted like Tokon Rizar. That's something that I give these first Ninja Turtle, the first two Ninja Turtle movies prompts, is they did a good job with the cast. They did an excellent job with the costumes and just the personality for each character. I mean, they really did an outstanding job with this movie as far as that goes. And the overall fight scenes were really good. Now, a lot of people are probably like, okay, so you don't think this holds up as well as the first one? Because, you know, like I said back then, I thought this one was way better than the first one. And I think it was mainly because of all the hype. Because, well, you know, there was new villains, mutant villains, and obviously the mutagen was in this movie, which that was something we really wanted to see as well. So they did give us that. It still is a shame we didn't have Krang or Technodrome, Dimension X, and all that jazz. But still, you know, not too shabby. But I also think the overall fight scenes were a lot better in the original compared to this one, mainly because in the original, the fight scenes were much longer, and I just thought better done and a lot more entertaining. And due to that, it just kept you more engaged. Now, I'm not saying this one wasn't entertaining, the 1991. You know, I just felt like the fight scenes were shorter and rushed. And I don't know, just a little more bland compared to the original. And I guess you could say that makes sense because this, after all, this came out a year after the original. So obviously they had to rush somewhere. And see, this is why they should take their time when making a sequel or anything for that matter, you know, so you don't half-ass anything, you know, because, like, you know, and like I said, not saying like the fight scenes in this one was not good, but you know what I mean? When you compare the two, it's pretty lopsided. But, you know, like I said, I think that's why this one seemed better than the original, just because there was new mutant villains, so the hype was really building up, and, you know, it was just cool to see new mutants. and Tokan Rizar were well done. But yeah, it would have been nice to see more out of them. Besides, they were just bigger than stronger. That was really the only thing about Tokan Rizar. But at least they acted like Tokan Rizar. They looked outstanding. And speaking of that, you know what really pissed me off with this movie? And it deserves to lose points due to this, is towards the very end. It was awesome to see, because that was like, oh shit, this movie's really stepping its game up now. But like towards the end, you got to see Shredder as Super Shredder. And it was like, oh shit, Super Shredder. Oh man, now we're in for a treat. Well, that was probably one of the biggest dickhead teases ever. Because it wasn't even a fight. Shredder basically committed suicide. I won't say how for those of you that haven't seen this movie, but you should watch. It's still well done. But I thought that was terrible. That's not how you should end it. That was really an insult to not only Shredder, but him being Super Shredder. I was like, what is that? So that was terrible. And speaking of characters, why couldn't Casey Jones be in this one like he was in the original? I mean, he was fucking awesome. Where's Casey Jones? I want Casey Jones back. Instead, we got this dumbass pizza kid named Keno. Yeah, I mean, not saying he ruined the movie, but it's like, who gives a fuck about him? He's just some dumbass pizza kid that knows martial arts. Ooh, big fucking deal. Yeah, that's what we wanted to see. But, anyways, that's Ninja Turtles 2. I won't say more because I don't want to give out any spoilers. I want you guys to check this movie out for those of you that haven't seen it. But for those of you that have, leave comments below. Which one you think is better, the original or this one? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate both of them? I'm very curious. But that's why I like the original more. I just think just the overall of it is just better than this one. Like, I feel like when you really watch both of them back to back now, this one, you can see more flaws. But again, I don't want to make it sound like this is a bad movie and it doesn't hold up very well. I do think this one holds up well. I think the true colors just stand out more. And I don't know if it is because, well, I'm older, I have more wisdom. I don't know. But no, I think that's just the best way of putting it, is I think the true colors stand out more. And yeah, that's why I love the original. And the original really does hold up well. But I think they both hold up. When you talk about 27, 28 years old, that's pretty impressive. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and talk about final verdicts. So let's have a recap. So like back then, I'm going to go from back then. Okay, so originally the first one, because I thought this one was better than the original, right? So back then I would have given the original a 7 out of 10, above average. And now, like, I give it a 9 out of 10. I just think it holds up so well and it's great. And if I wasn't a Ninja Turtles fan, like I'm just an average movie watcher, I would give the first one an 8 out of 10, right? That was my final verdict from last video. So for this one, yeah, like back then, I would have given this an 8 out of 10. But now, after watching them back to back, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. So, I mean, that's still a very good rating. I was going to give this an 8 out of 10. It was going to hold its score with me from 27 years ago, but kind of acknowledging more the flaws, but maybe not flaws, just the fact that they did rush this, you can kind of tell. But considering, though, it's a pretty good movie, because generally sequels really are shit, So they do get a lot of prompts for that. But yeah, so this one, 7 out of 10. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and leave comments below. Which one do you think is better? Do you like the original more or this one? I'm very curious. So, as always, guys, take care, and next video, we'll talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time.